Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark again here, Weatherman Plus. I got some big updates for you, not just what's impacting the lower 48 for today, for tomorrow, what's happening in our tropics, because it is growing. Now you can see for this morning, we do have the Invest 94L, and you see with the track guidance, it's still showing it's going to go through the southern half of the Caribbean. Matter of fact, we have an upper level low right here that's just circling around, and this is bringing a lot of wind shear. You can see this morning. A lot of shear is already hitting on this precipitation as this moves to the west. Still showing to be more conducive over here for Western Caribbean as it goes into the Bay of Campeche, but still showing that the next wave, which will be Invest 95L, and the one after that that just came off the coast of Africa, which will be Invest 96L. These two will be coming during a phase where the high pressure is going to be moving around, spinning everything in this direction, but it's also going to be going northern. These are the two waves we need to keep our eyes on to make sure we know exactly what the possibilities are, because these two waves are the ones that's showing that they're going to be sparking up and become a potential hurricane. We also have the severe weather that's going to be going on as these storms come on through, and as these storms grow for this afternoon, they're going to be bursting up in multiple areas, and you can see this on your outlook that you have chances for thunderstorms going across the south, also the Tennessee Kentucky Valley, and what's going across the northeast. Okay, what's trending across the northeast is as these storm systems move for today, you can see the wind pushing right in front of that big wind field. Then for tomorrow, we're going to have another day of severe weather, bringing chances for tornadoes as this system starts moving through. And remember, we're going to have multiple systems like this. It's going to be all the way through the beginning of July as we go through this pattern change. Now for today, you also have one more thing. You have a fire outlook. So you have chances for some fires for today as you go through Washington, also through Oregon and northern Nevada. Now yesterday, as that storm system came down and that big wind field went towards the southern side, it brought a lot of wind damage. It brought a lot of tornadoes also. We got 13 tornado reports, almost 100 wind gusts, and 170 almost wind damage reports that came through that line of storms, and there's more coming with it. Most of the tornado reports were for Nebraska and Iowa, and unfortunately all that flooding going to Iowa, you have another round of it coming next week also. But sitting right now, still a lot of power outages, not only for Michigan, it did go down to Indiana. Both of them was red. Now they're in the orange level, sitting over 60,000 homes without power, plus Oklahoma at 30,000 over, and Kansas over 20,000, and you got Missouri right there at 17. When I refresh it, you can see it's growing also. Now we're going into Oklahoma with over 75,000 homes without power, and Florida getting hit with some power outages as well, 12,000 so far. There's a lot of states that has power outages, like 7,000 in Arkansas, 7,000 in Texas. It just don't hit 10,000 to get the yellow. Link is in the description, so you go click on it and see where you're at. You can always click on the state and it'll show you which county. Also shows you who's working on the power, and if the neighbors next to you, the county next to you, is getting their power back, maybe you'll be next. But you can see the storm system right here making its way in with its trough. This will be what's moving in, and I'll show you in just a minute. But then we're going to have another one that's going to be coming right after that. Remember, this is going to be all the way until the beginning of July. I cannot say that enough. So for today, so far, there's no chances for tornadoes. It is going to be chances for wind and hail, showing the wind is the biggest threat. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for the chance for the damage of winds for today. Also, your hail threat for today. It's a lot strong over here in this 15%, but you still get a little slight risk of hail in the 5%. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for that also. Now, this is also an outlook from NATOcast. So I want to show you this. This is not from National Weather Service. Don't take this as law, but it is showing an upscale, an uptick. Let's just take it as that. Not really the severity that we see here, but it's showing a big uptick of winds as it goes through Pennsylvania, Eastern Virginia, through Maryland, through Delaware, New Jersey, maybe even some of New York and Western Connecticut. Showing a big uptick in winds, especially for southeastern Pennsylvania. And you can see with Colorado State also agreeing there is an uptick possible of winds in that exact region, and there's also a little chance for tornadoes as that happens, so be warned of that. Matter of fact, we do have an update, and there is a 2% chance for tornadoes now. So here's your cities and states at risk for the threat for tornadoes for today. showing chances for some strong winds to pop up across the southern side of the U.S. as you get that storms going around, a big MCS mesoscale convective system, as you get that front. And you can see the front right here as you get that big front going all the way towards the northeast. So watch out for them storm systems that move through, potentially bringing some winds with those. Also in the northeast. Showing so far in the northeast that this cycle will be winds picking up right offshore and not quite on land. So just be a warning of that. That could be a little bit sooner. That is what NATOcast is seeing, this being a little bit further to the west. And you see all the winds aloft as we go into tomorrow's severe weather, bringing the chances for the tornadoes as that grows also. It looks like a little bit stronger for South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, going to western Iowa, and some of northern Nebraska. Some high winds aloft. Showing so far by HRRR, the winds could bring some banding all the way across the northeast. Start bringing a 40, but maybe get some pockets of 50 or 60 on those supercells. And you can see those storms going across the south. A lot of those winds aloft is bringing a lot of strong winds all evening, all the way to midnight. Now early into the morning going by Texas. This is bringing 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts possible with those also. Then as we go into tomorrow, we still got our winds that's going to pop up from the south central to the north central and chances for tornadoes, but the winds are raising also, bringing the 50 and 60 possible to y'all. Also showing chances for small hail, but you can see the hail coming with these storms across the northeast from Pennsylvania all the way towards Massachusetts possible. And those storms coming across the south. You have them going to northern Missouri into Arkansas also, bringing in chances for hail with that as it goes towards Texas and really weakens down. Then for tomorrow, those storms coming across upper Midwest, bringing some hail threats with that also. But National Weather Service does have it as a 2% chance for tornadoes for tomorrow. So here's your cities and states at risk for the tornado threat for Thursday. You also have the wind threat and the hail threat. Significant severe in the same region as you get that troughing of that system going to the north. Chances for 2 inches at least in diameter in the black section, plus hail threat going down to the 5% and the 15%, and you have some for the East Coast. Here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for tomorrow and your wind threat for tomorrow. Chances for significant severe, at least 74 miles per hour wind gusts, hurricane force, and you have the 5% for the coast as well. So far, here's your cities and states at risk for the damage and wind threat for tomorrow. Now, as you go through Friday, the storm system is going to go up through Canada, but so far, here's your cities and states at risk for the severe weather for Friday. And we can't see that far just yet, but National Weather Service says there is chances for large hail, damage and winds, and a couple of tornadoes will be possible for that day. Showing that as you go Friday through Saturday, it is going to bring more precipitation and rainfall in the area. If you did not see the videos on X, make sure you go check them out. My link's in the description for my profile page. There's a lot of flooding going on over there. Also in Minnesota, a lot of flooding. They don't need any more rainfall. They already have enough. So far you can see it's northern Missouri, western Illinois, southern Iowa, eastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, and anywhere from 1 to 2 inches. And really heavy for southern Iowa and northern Missouri for more additional rainfall coming your way. Plus, you can see here as you go into July 3rd through July 9th, on that next storm system right behind it, you have chances for flooding again. All this gray striped area is chances for flooding during those days. Plus, you can see in the orange, this is where your drought is going to grow. And you see how much it has grown since last time. You're going to start getting drought in this area as you go from the 3rd through the 9th of July, and excessive heat watch in this region also. Very hot temperatures coming your way, and you're going to be below average on precipitation, so you got to watch out for that. Plus more flooding because you still got your monsoon season over here for New Mexico going into Arizona, and heavy precipitation coming for July 3rd and July 4th. More flooding coming your way. You can see this with National Weather Service as you go from July 2nd through July 8th. You're still going to be going with that above average precipitation across the southwest, below average in this brown section also across the south and the southeast. Why are you getting all that heat? And those storms are going to keep troughing through, bringing above average precipitation in y'all region also. So unfortunately, Minnesota and Iowa, you do have more rainfall coming your way. And you can see the temperatures are still going to be there all the way to the 7th and 8th of July, maybe a little bit longer. But remember, this is going to transition across the southwest right after that. And that's where our tropics are going to change also. So you can see our latest update here at National Hurricane Center. Invest 94L has gone down to 20% chance in the next 7 days, maybe a 10% chance in the next 48 hours. What we got to watch for is what Invest 95L and the next wave, which will be Invest 96L, what they are doing. Now, are they hindering that shear? Our next pattern change could pull these a little bit further to the north. So far, the second wave, which will be Invest 95L, is at 30% chance in the next 7 days. You can also see the latest update with global tropics from July 3rd through July 9th, expecting tropical cyclone development all the way from Puerto Rico, all the way across by Jamaica, by Cuba, all the way past Yucatan into the Bay of Campeche, expecting tropical cyclone formation in that region. And still after that, we're still going into that break. We're just trying to get to that break. And what I'm showing after that break is something very powerful is coming, then possibly another break. But you can see this where we could be having our problem. You see this with the Euro as we get our storm system coming through all the way for Friday. That Invest 94L maybe getting a little bit more conducive as it goes by the Yucatan into the Bay of Campeche and going up and down. It's getting hit by shear as well, some dry air, still going towards Mexico. Then we're going to change. Now this is a change that we're not going to want because you're going to see multiple waves that's going to be pulling through. There's going to be multiple tropical waves that's going to be moving through, and this is what's going to be hitting that shear so it weakens down in this region. But then you see that our high pressure is going to change. You see our high pressure expanding out, but then it gets some weak moments where the high pressure weakens down over Bermuda, and you only have the high pressure up a little high over the southwest, bringing everything in this direction. That kind of opens up the field a little bit for things to go further towards the north. Just get pulled to the northern side. That's as far as we can see with the Euro. I got some more information for you. Latest information on Invest 94L that it is a chance for it to become a hurricane. As it goes later past 3 days, maybe strengthen up towards a hurricane by the Western Caribbean, going right into our Gulf, a little bit northern. You see that northern tick? It did tick northern a little bit more. Also, you can see on the strength that is expected by the time it goes 4 and 5 days, become a tropical storm. But you can see that they're starting to trend that we're going to see maybe a strong tropical storm coming out of this. So we do need to keep watching this. But also showing that our pattern as we go from July 1st through July 8th, that we have better chance for formation as it goes right by the Eastern Caribbean going towards Puerto Rico and possibly curving right past Turks and Caicos, just a little east of the Bahamas, and maybe doing something else that we need to follow. Also, that Invest 94L showing it could still pop up around the western side of the Bay of Campeche and form up as it goes west. Maybe another tropical storm. And you see this second one, the Invest 95L, that one could strengthen up also, showing stronger than this one. Now, just to show you the latest information you can see so far with the GFS, showing that it does get very strong as it goes by the Eastern Caribbean. Could be a potential problem. Then it hits that upper level low that's over here, and it gets that trough of that wind shear, and it shears it away down to nothing, including the next wave behind it, while we still have that high pressure moving around, swirling everything to the west, and it starts going in that region. And you can see here that as it starts moving towards Eastern Caribbean, potentially becoming a hurricane as it goes 5 days out. And that's what we're starting to see on this as this moves into the Caribbean, strengthening up, but then it gets hit with that shear. Right here is where you have your upper level low forming. And this is bringing all this wind shear over that wave, and it can't do anything. It can't grow. And that's why it weakens down immediately on that one. And that next wave behind it, still showing on this run that it weakens down also, but showing a possible hurricane coming towards the Eastern Caribbean and past that, weakening down, maybe a tropical depression as it goes by Jamaica, then another tropical depression at least, then get weakened down by the shear and get pulled out to the west by that high pressure. Now, other models is not showing that it's going to make it in time, and something different could happen. So I'm going to show you what's been going on in the model data real quick. Then I'm going to take you to some ensembles showing that Invest 94L would just weaken down and push to the west, but showing that that next one, Invest 95L, still could be that possible hurricane as it comes through as we go 5 and 6 days. Then another wave right behind that. Now, in this evolution, you still have the shear, you still got that trough from that upper level low, but it takes the wave northern right towards Cuba, Bahamas, and towards Florida, while that next wave is a little more southern in the Caribbean on this resolution and goes to the west right past Jamaica and goes out into the eastern Pacific potentially. But you can see here on your chances for a pressure system, gets very strong by the eastern Caribbean, starts weakening down while you get that second one shortly after, which would not be good. Then you get something forming to the eastern Pacific as that high pressure swings everything out. And this tries to go towards the Gulf, but it gets hit with a lot of shear as we get the troughs and the cold fronts. Now, these cold fronts is what the tropics is needing to spark up these waves because it's fighting through the dust. And if they get strong enough to where they can reach into the upper levels, the dust won't matter. It'll be a strengthening wave where it can breathe. And you can see the next run with GFS is 6Z, still showing something strong going to the eastern Caribbean by the time we go 5 days out. Then that next wave, which will be Invest 96L, this will be 95L, just two powerful waves coming through. And on this one, it shows that it will win, and the high pressure will bring both of those towards Central America, bring a lot of heavy rainfall, go out to the eastern Pacific, and form something very strong out there also. Now you can see how Euro takes that wave very weak. Now still showing the Invest 94L will be something weak. The trend has been that could strengthen into a tropical storm as it goes into the Bay of Campeche. But Invest 95L is what's showing stronger, and Euro's showing that one weak also, and the one behind it weak. But it is agreeing that it could start taking that northern push. And you can see with the Canadian trying to get a trend that it shows Invest 94L could strengthen up as it goes towards the western side of the Gulf right before it goes to Mexico. But that next one, Invest 95L, showing it to be weak, so it's agreeing with the Euro that it could be weak, but it's also showing that northern push, then also agreeing that next one behind it could start trying to do something as well. Showing the shear keeps them both at bay. But it is moving through. We need to watch it. Something could still happen out of that. You see how this has a little bit of a wobble, northern and southern to it. So it's still not set in stone what these two waves are doing. We definitely need to watch them. Look at the GOES satellite. It shows Invest 94L, something weak like the Euro, maybe an upper level low as that pulls away. But you can see also that next wave taking a northern push. This will be Invest 95L, taking a northern push and strengthening up and going to the north. And that is what we're seeing in the Euro ensembles on the possible paths. So we could be looking at potential hurricanes already forming up in the beginning of July. Showing it with your dust that it will still remain somewhat suppressing Invest 94L. But that next wave coming through, Invest 95L, showing it will get away from the thickness of the dust. They'll breathe at higher elevations. Still will be potentially vertically unstacked because of some shear, but still be able to breathe and strengthen through that dust as it goes through the northern Atlantic, and then maybe eventually getting hit with some dust. But what I'm not seeing is dust around the center. I'm seeing precipitation around the center and not dry air. So it does look like it does strengthen and that dust does not affect it. Also showing by the time that forms up around the beginning of July, the rest of the MDR, the main development region, you have a lot of dust still coming off, but look how it's starting to thin out and become less and less. Remember, we do have some sinking air propagating east from the Pacific, also dealing with this section, so we have a little bit of time before something could form. Then it's going to be too late. Then we got something powerful coming. So the control member with the Euro, you can see that you still have all that stuff in the Pacific still forming up. They still have tropical cyclones over there. But we have this sinking air moving through, and it's going to stop anything from forming. It's unfavorable environment. But showing we still have some waves. This will be a wave by the 3rd going a little bit to the west. This looks like it'll be in the eastern Pacific. One of these two waves, Invest 95L or Invest 96L, is potentially going to be a problem we need to watch for. Then that sinking air is going to persist through. Showing in the long range, and you can see those two areas right here, how much different it looks with the long range. But then we're going to be in that big unfavorable environment moving through. But as we go through the middle of July, our tropics are going to start changing. And as we go to the beginning of August, the very end of July, something powerful is coming right off the MDR, then potentially another break after that. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of changing going on. But this right here is very concerning. So you can see in 72 hours, showing Invest 94L could strengthen up as it goes towards the Western Caribbean, and 4 and 5 days start going towards the Bay of Campeche, showing it will weaken down from that trough, from that shear also. But you can see that next wave coming up, that'll be Invest 95L as you go 6 and 7 days, start moving into the Caribbean, favoring the southern side. Now that's important, because if it's the northern side of the Caribbean, there's a good chance that this wave will more likely just curve like this, still impacting a lot of people that we need to alert for. But if it's a southern side of a tropical wave, this is where it could ride further, either get going into the eastern Pacific or get carried up to the north. So this is not what we want to see, is right along the southern side. It goes further to the west. So as we go 8, 9, 10 days away, this is where it's starting to favor and don't know what it's going to do. It could either head north, go towards the Bahamas, go towards the Gulf of Mexico, favoring a little bit better, where it'll go more into the Western Caribbean more than likely, but that is not set in stone. It's still days away. This high pressure that is over here could easily move over here, and all these waves that are going in this direction could keep going to the north. So we do need to watch this next transition. These next 2 waves are going to be a problem, I do believe. Once you go past 10 days, then you can see it starts fading away where it could form up. We have multiple areas where that Invest 95L could form up. So we do need to watch this next transition. It is going to be tricky. So also need to watch Invest 94L. So even though the model data is showing you something weak right now, the latest evolution is showing some strengthening come up in 5 days. So you can see right here in 72 hours, showing the wave will be by the Western Caribbean, but possibly start strengthening up right past the Yucatan as we go 4 days. Now remember, land interaction will keep this storm system weak, but once it passes the Yucatan, possibly sparking right back up. And in 5 days, showing anywhere from the southern half of the Gulf of Mexico, maybe going a little bit northern. We need to watch for these, because this is the direction these will be going. After you go past 5 days, showing that western push, showing a little bit of consolidation over here for northern Mexico, a little bit more of southern Texas. Now remember, this will be north side loaded, so if this was to form anything, it will be bringing impacts in this direction. So I will keep you updated. Then that next wave, Invest 95L. You see as it goes 6 days and beyond, favoring the northern side of the Caribbean so far. That would bring it towards the eastern Caribbean, the British Islands, Puerto Rico potentially, as it goes out into the Atlantic. But as this goes further, you can see as you go towards 7 and 8 days, it starts spreading on its ensembles, chances to form up. So here's your chances as you go towards literally 9 days away, showing less of a chance for this to be believable to the north, showing very strong ones going toward the north, where it'd be major hurricanes. Also, if it went more towards the center, that's where it's favoring. The center and the southern side, it is favoring. And as you go 9 and 10 days, you can see the possibilities of the outcome, showing maybe this will curve around towards the southeast, maybe go towards the Gulf, maybe go towards the Western Gulf. Look at that transition. We do need to watch this. We have 3 areas where this system could be going, and all of them is going to be a problem for somebody, 2 of them threatening the United States. Now, this is something that's a little bit concerning to me. When you look at the Euro ensembles, you see literally in 6 days, showing that Invest 94L could start strengthening up, go to the west, right into the Bay of Campeche, and more likely form something to the Western Gulf, probably a tropical storm as it goes towards Mexico. So Mexico, you might have some serious flooding and some winds coming your way. But after that, showing those next 2 waves, Invest 95L and Invest 96L, one of them is going to make it to the Western Caribbean. One of them is going to go a little bit northern. So as we go from 10 days on, remember this is from 10 days on, but this is a Euro ensemble. As we go 11 and 12 days, showing what could go into the Gulf of Mexico with Invest 95L. Invest 96L could go northern, but then it might get pulled. The high pressure might expand back out and pull this more western. That would make this one to go more western as well. So we got to pay attention to this next transition, because you can see afterwards it starts strengthening up into a possible major hurricane, and the ensembles takes it literally by July 8th and crossing over Florida into the Gulf of Mexico, and keep going into the Gulf right towards Texas in this evolution as a major hurricane. That is not good to see, especially seeing that as the Euro. That's very concerning. I'll keep you updated. It's not set in stone just yet. I just wanted to show you this. Thank you for your time, everybody. That's been my latest update on the weather forecast. I hope this helps you understand what's coming around the corner. I will keep you updated. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that bell and select all. That way you do get the updates. Otherwise, you won't get them. That's the way YouTube works now. Psalm 42, 5 through 11. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted in me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. O my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore will I remember thee from the land of Jordan, and of the Hermonites from the hill Mizar. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy waterspouts. All thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. Yet the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me, and my prayers unto the God of my life. I will say unto God, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? As with a sword in my bones, mine enemies reproach me, while they say daily unto me, where is thy God? Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my God. Amen. Hope you have a great day, everybody. Be aware of these storms coming. Iowa, be aware of the flooding, plus what's coming next week. This could potentially happen again to y'all over there. And keep your eyes on the tropics, everybody. I will keep you updated. Thank you again for your time today. And remember, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you healthy and pure and peace in your heart and your countenance every single day, and wipes away any depression you may have. In Jesus Christ's name of Nazareth, I pray. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. I'll keep you updated. Afternoon updates are going to be starting very shortly.